Hello, everybody. This week, I'm not going to talk so much about coding as what's in a piece of line of code. So you're probably working on the Pi game now, which is the spaceship game, but you may not have had a lot of exposure to color. At this one line here, screen fill AI settings BG color, you go and grab a BG color, which is essentially these three numbers, and fill the screen or fill that color into the screen. Um, which is 230, 230, 230. Now I've taken that line and gone ahead and put in here and kind of broken it down into this part. So the first number pertains to the amount of greens in it. The first one's the amount of red in it. Second is amount of green, and the third number is blue. And this is the same for hexadecimal, except hexadecimal will use a 6-digit system where the first 2 digits are how much red, second 2 digits how much green, third 2 digits are blue. The same exact idea. The difference here is the max, or excuse me, the minimum you can get for each one is 0. And then the maximum is going to be 255, 255, 255. So as you can see, in our game, 230 is pretty high. And if you think about it, the color of that you see on your monitor is produced through light. So the more light you give it, the brighter and the whiter it is. And in fact, when you add all of the red, all of the green, and all of the blue, you get white. So this white you see here in our notepad is actually 255, 255, 255 color because it's all green, all red, all blue. So 0 would be the opposite. If I took 0 out, and 0, or I should say, take all the red out, take all the green out, take all the blue out, and I'm really saying is I'm taking all the red light out, all the green light out, and all the blue light out. There's nothing left. No light is hitting the screen, and therefore it goes black. And hopefully you see a pattern here, because whenever these three numbers are equal, you get a shade of gray, ranging from white to black. So when you see 230, that's pretty close to 255, and it's all across, we should get a very light system. And I'm going to take this out here too while we're here, just so you get that background color. So my background color shows up to be, if it comes up here, there you go, a very light gray. Likewise, let's go ahead and test this out. I think I put these in the settings. If I change this to all zeros, what I should get is a nice, beautiful black. And sure enough, it almost looks like a prompt window at this point, right? But you can play with this, because if you think about it then, what would green be? Well, all you'd have to do is put, let's see, this is red, this is green, this is blue. All I'd have to do is put maximum green. I could do 255, but that would give me a really bright white green. I could actually just do 125, still get a green. It's going to be a little darker, but it'll still be all green, no red, no blue. And here is not the most attractive green, but a green for our thing, for our spaceship background. And then you can start thinking of mixing colors. Well, if this is red and green, what do red and green mix? Well, you got to go back to what I would call the color wheel, but what a lot of other people would say is just Roy G. Biv. So if you remember your colors back from grade school or high school or wherever you learned this, it goes red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. If you do it on what they refer to as a color wheel, you do all those colors except for indigo. Indigo doesn't make the cut. And they are equally spaced. So red's on the opposite side of green, and violet's on the opposite side of yellow, etc., etc. I'm not going to go into that. That's more of an art thing. But go back to that, just a Roy G. Biv. Well, what's between R and G? So if I did 125 and 125, well, that's going to be reds 125, greens 125. I have no blue, so it's got to be somewhere between red and blue, and green, which is Roy G, right? So it should end up being very yellowish. And let's go ahead and hit this. And as you can see, it's a little bit of orange. The reason why it is not a pure yellow is because it's not bright. Because remember, yellow is very, very bright. So this is going to play more to the orange that's in the yellow, or in this case, the red that makes the green look more yellow. But if we juice this up to 255, now all of a sudden we should get a much brighter yellow. And there we go. So you can play around and get whatever color you want. Obviously, if I put the red, turn the red and the blue up, and turn this to 0, guess what I'm going to get? You're probably right. It's violet. And I could do blue-green as well. So let's turn this thing back to 230. Just so we have our original game. But you can go ahead and play with this and make that background whatever you want. I'm going to follow directions, but in this case, I'm not going to take off if you guys have the wrong color in your background. Okay. There's a lot of cool things you can do with color. Hopefully we come back and talk about it a little bit later, but if you have any questions, go ahead and put them on the Q&A. Thank you.